Hi everyone, thank you for coming to my Vulnerably Badass YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about our COVID test results in the US. Before we came to the States, we just wanted to be sure that both Ken and I didn't have any COVID. So our flight was on Wednesday, but on Sunday we took a PCR test in Korea. We wanted to make sure we had enough time before we get on board, because when we contacted CDC in Korea, they say the result might take up to three days. So we took the test on 5 o'clock in the evening, and it was the usual, thing that went all the way deep and then the throat. For me, it was my second time. The first time it was really bad. It hurt so much and I almost cried and shake my legs and everything. But the second time wasn't that bad. And it was drive-through, very easy. It took less than 5 minutes. And for my son, it was his first time. He cried, of course, because you have to stick the thing deep in your nose. And he was so horrified that he had to take it again in the States. But what happened here in the States, and then the result came out the same day, after 4 hours or 5 hours. So I was really impressed. Yes, Korea, pali, quick culture. And here in the States, what we did was we made an appointment at pediatrics, and since I was coming with Ken, I was able to do it with him at pediatrics. So we made a phone registration or online registration beforehand, before we went to pediatrics, and then we signed in and we waited and we walked in and into a little individual room. And what was surprising, or what was different, was it wasn't the long thing that you have to stick deep in your nose. It was just like a regular cotton swab, and then the cotton tip was like maybe this much. And what the nurse said, stick it in, just the tip, and then rub it for 10 times. So I did 10 times in one side and then 10 times on the other side, and then give it to her in the test tube looking thing, and that was done. And for my son, it was the same, but since he was small, I had to do it for him, and so I stick it in, just a little bit, and then rub it for 10 times. But he cried, I don't think I did it hard or it hurt, but I guess he had this trauma from the first COVID test. So he was like, oh, it hurts, and I started crying. But to me, I'm like, hey, I just put just a little bit, and what are you crying about? But so I was so surprised, like, wow, this is amazing. If you can test like this, everybody should go through this, not the deep brain touching hardcore testing, but just gentle 10 times rubbing. But maybe because it was special, maybe because it's pediatrics, so we were able to do this. And maybe, I don't know, maybe accuracy is not as high as the regular deep thing, I'm not sure. But anyway, I was glad that we both didn't have to go through that brain touching exam. So then what happened was the actual doctor came in and she checked our heartbeat and breathing and asked some questions, and we were done. So that was more thorough examination. Then we were told the result will be ready within 2 to 4 days. We will be sent an email so we can open an account on their platform and check the result there. So that's a difference between Korea too, because in Korea you just get a text message and say you're negative, within 4 hours. But here, 2 to 4 days, I waited, and it was actually 2 days. It took 2 days, and we received the result yesterday. We got an email. Okay, your lab result is ready on the platform, so please log in and check. And I made a mistake of logging in, and made a mistake about the password 3 times, so my account was locked. So I actually directly called the pediatrics and asked for the result, and they just gave me the result over the phone, so it was great. But we were negative, and yay! I don't know, I felt like, yes, I am happy about me being negative, but I was so happy about not having to worry about giving the virus to other people. I guess, maybe this is Japanese, not causing mayuak to other mentality, or not troubling others mentality. But the first thing that came to my mind is like, now I don't have to worry about, giving it to Sam's, son, my stepson, or Sam, or anybody, So I thought that was interesting. I was worrying about giving it to others before I worry about myself. And of course I was happy that my son was negative, because we tried to be very, very, very careful on the airplane and at the airport, because I was so almost paranoid about coming to the States, because about quarter of the whole number of infected people is happening in the States. And looking at the news, how people are not wearing masks, or wearing or not wearing masks is all political. So I was like, do I really want to go? Is it gonna be really safe? But now how I feel is, Sam, my husband, was telling me that, as long as you stay home and you take precaution, it should be fine. Don't worry too much. So here, everyday life, I stay home and we eat at home, and we order takeout and eat at home. So I don't worry. But the airport was really, really scary. And coming from Korea, the international flight, it was scary, but not that much, because in Korea they do a great job tracing people. So I kind of assumed the passengers will be probably negative, but what I was worried was the domestic flight from Dallas to Washington DC, and also the 2 or 3 hour wait at the airport, because we were hungry, we were eating and drinking, and we made sure that we were keeping enough distance from anyone, and crazily sanitizing our hands and washing hands. And wow, at the end of that trip, my hands were so dry, and I never had this dry hand feeling and hurting, or kind of burning sensation. I don't know what it is, but yeah, so that was how we try to be cautious to sanitize everything and every time. But so because of that, we didn't catch any virus. And yeah, we tested a few days later. We got tested and we got the results a few days later, and we were negative, so we're happy. So yay, I really feel I am really kind of free, although we're staying home in the States, but the mental state is liberated. So yeah, so today's question for you, I think it's the same as last time when I got tested in Korea, but how have you taken COVID test before, and how was it, and how was your experience? How did you feel? I look forward to listening to your stories. Thank you for listening to my YouTube channel. See you next time. Bye.